Hello, this is Melanie Dean. Welcome to my critical book review for Limbo. This is presented to Dr. Tennille Lasker-Scott of Arkansas Tech University. The title of this book is Limbo, Blue Collar Roots, White Collar Dreams by Alfred Lebrano. The book is a description of the phenomenon experienced by people who grow up in blue-collar families but attend college and become immersed in a white-collar world. The book aims to describe the duality and dysphoria of this social group and describes their experience as limbo. Lebrano was born the son of a bricklayer in Brooklyn, New York, and attended Columbia University in the 1970s while his father worked on constructing a building on the campus. Lebrano is a reporter for the Philadelphia Inquirer. In this book, he utilizes his extensive journalistic background, including winning 6 national awards, and his lived experience of limbo. Now that you have a basic introduction to the book and its author, let's take a look at a summary of the book. Limbo is a personal exploration of Lebrano's class struggle paired with 100 interviews of people who grew up in blue-collar families and attended college, which launched them into a white-collar world. Now let's look at some definitions of terms. Lebrano explains that blue-collar workers are those who do not have a college degree and perform manual labor, and that white-collar workers are those who have a college education, have a professional job, and work with their minds. The term straddlers is given to people who grew up blue-collar but transitioned to the middle class. Lebrano purports that such people experience an inherent struggle to relate to their families of origin, their white-collar college classmates, and their white-collar colleagues. Straddlers' struggle to choose a partner is explored along with internal struggles with identity. College is often the first time that blue-collar kids are immersed in a white-collar world. The sharp reality of the difference in wealth, culture, and resources comes into focus for the first time. The intensity of their studies isolates them from their families and causes tensions with their parents who are accustomed to work being associated with hard physical labor. Although straddlers' parents often desire for them to succeed, they have no framework for understanding their children's experiences. At worst, they belittle straddlers for their attempts to rise above their social class and attempt to tie them to their past. Lebrano described how straddlers often depart from their family's religion during college, furthering the tension with their families. The straddler often does not find respite in their college environment as they do not have the luxury of time and resources of their white-collar classmates. Academic success does not level the playing field for straddlers. Despite the merit of their achievements, they do not feel that they belong and often feel fake. Dating adds to straddlers' sense of misplacement, whether they date blue-collar or white-collar people. When dating blue-collar people, straddlers feel that they have nothing in common with people of their own class anymore. Dating white-collar people can result in straddlers being looked down upon by the families of people they date, or the straddler feeling out of place and failing to acclimate. Some straddlers find it most comfortable to date other straddlers. Cross-class marriages often result in unique misunderstandings about finances, child rearing, and relationships with extended families. Generally, entering the workforce does not bring relief for straddlers, even if they possess advanced degrees. Their blue-collar roots continue to show through as they tend to be more temperamental, are too transparent in their communication, and do not understand how to socialize after hours with their colleagues. In the workforce, many straddlers continue to struggle with an internal rhetoric that tells them that they do not belong in a white-collar world. Now let's take a look at my critical evaluation of the book. Although Lebrano supports his central thesis with a plethora of evidence, his work has distinct weaknesses. He fails in a diverse exploration of straddler parenting. His work claims that straddlers as parents have a strong desire for their kids to work hard for what they attain. This ignores the number of straddler parents who want to make their kids' lives easier and do not want to see their kids struggle. White-collar people are presented in a mostly negative, disconnected from harsh realities light. This can cause straddlers more difficulty in bridging healthy relationships with those outside of their social class. Lebrano could have improved by including more positive stories of white-collar people to humanize them to straddlers. The book is limited in its help to straddlers. This book does not help straddlers understand how to come to peace with their dual natures. In sharing the stories of straddlers who have found peace, the author frames their pathway to peace as mysterious, leaving straddlers no clear understanding of how to find their own peace. The author does not set his work in a historical context. The onset and growth of the knowledge economy is the source of the phenomenon of straddlers. Including a historical perspective on the knowledge economy and straddlers would have strengthened Lebrano's case. Lebrano does a quality job of drawing claims from the material presented. The author's main premise is that straddlers experience dysphoria in their relationships, and he thoroughly supports his main premise and each sub-premise with stories from his own life and the lives of a wealth of interviewees. Lebrano underpins his claim that stragglers struggle with family relationships by sharing his own struggle with his father and sharing the struggles of many other straddlers, such as Don Newton, Maria Fosco, and Mary Lou Finn. He explains the struggle of straddlers to find anyone like themselves on college campuses with the story of Signe Kasperg and Paul Gronke. It does not seem that the author purposely subverted information that could have compromised his thesis, and the thesis is thoroughly proved. In conclusion, Limbo is a meaningful compilation of the stories of people who have moved up in social class and struggle with doing so. I would recommend this book to first-generation college students and any white-collar raised person who associates with straddlers, especially in an academic or work environment. I think that this book has the potential to help straddlers understand why they feel out of place. Those who are raised in the middle class can gain valuable insight into the lived experiences of a marginalized section of the modern workforce. From this book, I learned the source of many of my thinking patterns. I expect my life to be a struggle and expect to work as hard as absolutely possible. I enter most situations feeling like I have to prove myself. Before I read this book, I never related these expectations to my blue-collar upbringing. Now I understand the source of some of the fundamental conflicts between my husband and me. He grew up in a white-collar home where he never worried about having enough and was allowed to disagree with his parents. He understands that debt is not an enemy, but a tool. Understanding these differences is helping me to communicate with him more effectively. I believe that the understanding of straddlers and myself that I gained as a result of the book will be a valuable tool when I re-enter the workforce. Overall, I appreciate the opportunity to understand some relational differences in light of my straddler experience. Here's the APA reference for Limbo. Thank you for listening. We'll look at the purpose of the book, the author's biases, and the strengths of the book, as well as its weaknesses, limitations, and relevance. First, let's look at the purpose of the book. The purpose of this book is to describe the unique cultural phenomenon of straddlers. The author accomplishes his goal by offering a variety of stories that help straddlers to understand that they are not alone in their experiences. Lebrano is effective at exposing and describing modern classism and the struggle of trans-class people by telling his own story and compiling and organizing the stories of 100 other straddlers. The author approaches his writing from a bias against white-collar life and for blue-collar life and against religion. Lebrano offers some positive examples of white-collar people. However, throughout the book, white-collar people are painted in the negative light of their excess. Negative characteristics of blue-collar people are shared, although they are permitted to be negative because of the toil and pain of blue-collar life. Lebrano spends several paragraphs explaining why he owns horses and shows them at the pinnacle of white-collar culture, the Devon Horse Show. This is telling because as a straddler, he feels he has to explain why he participates in such things. In the end, he explains that the only reason he is involved in horses is that he loves his wife, which is associated with blue-collar values. His biases for straddlers is valuable because it compelled him to write the book and helped him to explore and describe his plight, as well as the plight of many others. Lebrano leaves the reader with a sense that the natural outflow of a college education is agnosticism. He admits in the book that neither he nor his wife is religious. The book lacks stories of Stradlers that retained or gained a religious practice through their education. These two factors leave the reader wondering if stories of religious endurance were purposefully omitted. The strengths of this book include value in validating and codifying Stradlers' experiences, helping Stradlers understand how their experience fits into the cultural phenomenon, and helping them to understand that their education does not have to break their relationships. Additionally, white-collar raised workers can better understand that they're Stradler co-workers and employees. Since class is still a taboo subject, many Stradlers feel alone. Lobrano helps them to understand that they are not alone. Since he covers such a wide variety of subjects, many Stradlers can relate to his work. Stradlers gain a sense of peace because their experience has been given a voice through Lobrano's work. To summarize the book, Lobrano shares the story of Joe Terry, a Stradler who copes well with his dual state. Terry says, quote, "Education divides you from your parents only if you let it," end quote. This and Lobrano's redemption of his relationship with his dad leave Stradler readers with a sense of hope and empowerment. Finally, the book is valuable because through it, white-collar raised people can gain valuable insights into the hearts and minds of the Stradlers they work with. As such, it is a useful tool in creating a shared language and promoting mutual understanding among the classes.